Opening lap is Gary Proskotchel from the pole. Leads Jeff Triggs over Bill Behrens and Andy Wiles. These Show Me Vintage racers have been to Lucas Oil Speedway a handful of times throughout the years. They usually come in around 4 or 5 times. They were here for a 2-day show earlier this year. Here for a 2-day show again, and 4 cars all wadded together in a battle for the lead. And Gary Proskotchel, who had the lead after 1 lap, has now dropped off the pace. He's back almost outside the top 4 as the 58 of Jeff Triggs motors to the front. All these cars 1973 model and earlier. As a new leader on the pylon goes to Andy Wiles. Andy Wiles won the event last night. He's won multiple times here at Lucas Oil Speedway. And that is a bad push from Jeff Triggs. Whenever you have the wheels pointed to the left and your car is going to the right, that is a bad sign. As now a battle for second with Triggs holding it right now, and Bill Behrens in the 35, right behind him, 3 car lengths. And Brian Cox is moving his way to the front. Most of these cars all have 355 4-barrels. Don't allow any trucks or core convertibles or station wagons. Go anywhere from a 1973 Ford Gran Torino all the way to a Model T. Lead car right now of Triggs is the 39, or excuse me, the lead car is the 51 of Wiles. It's a 1951 Studebaker, but Jeff Triggs, who leads that pack in the 58T, that is a 39 Chevy sedan. And the laps are ticking by. We're at the halfway point. Last night, these cars had a caution-filled race. They were told in the drivers' meeting, you've got 15 laps or 15 minutes, whichever comes first. And they have very wisely decided to knock some laps off here in the early going, but they're still 3 and 4 wide, as it's a 2-wide battle for second with Triggs to the inside. Bill Behrens to the outside. Cars going some laps down. It's a great battle here as Bob Werkmeister has worked his way up to 4th. Now he's up to 3rd as he was able to get around Triggs. Werkmeister in a 32 Ford Coupe. Many of these drivers are retired drivers, former champions that took some time off, and this entire racing series is filled with guys that just love to go out and race, have a good time. Whoever wins this, you'll be able to see that from the driver's interview in Victory Lane. They're just happy to be here and happy that they have this opportunity. Mickey Fleehart was the club president, and he passed away a year ago March, so they have had a couple of memorial races for him. That Dale Earnhardt looking number 3 of Eddie Neal, a 1957 Chevy. Laps getting knocked off in short order, and it has been all Andy Wiles up front. Jim Thorne and Brandon Jordan, that's 5th and 6th. Thorne's in the 113, Brandon Jordan in the 2D. Jordan looking to his inside. And a car up on the outside retaining wall brings out our first Midwest sheet metal caution. And it is for the 44 of Terry Price out of Johnson, Nebraska. He throws it into reverse, backs up and hits the wall. And then he will make the right-hand turn and head down the ramp and back to the pit area, as it has been all Andy Wiles. He has led a better part of 8 or 9 laps. 13 have been completed. A 2-lap shootout on the way, as that 8-second deficit Bob Werkmeister had is going to shrink down to about 2 feet for this restart as Wiles leads Bob Workmeister, Bill Behrens, and Jim Thorne. It will take race control a little bit of time to get all of these cars lined out because they were extremely spread out. And this is the luxury of having transponders in all of these cars where timing and scoring gets them whenever they cross the start-finish line. Makes it a whole lot easier to make sure they know where everybody is going. As Andy Wiles, an 8.2-second lead over Bob Workmeister. He and Bill Behrens were practically nose to tail. Jim Thorne was right there, and Brandon Jordan as well. That was your top 5. Workmeister, Behrens, Thorne, and Jordan were all within about a second and a half of one another. As the yellow light has been turned off, and we're about ready to go back at it. A single file restart for 2 laps. Andy Wiles out of Walnut, Kansas. He has won 6 times this year, and now they're going to have to flip the light back on. Thought they had everybody ready, but may take one more lap. Andy Wiles won 4 times last year. Andy Wiles placed 9th last night. Won back in July. And another car falls off the track, and that was a car that was involved in an incident during his heat race, and Mike Lawless. During his heat race, Mike Lawless was leading and ended up spinning from the lead position. Got hit, and now he is not going to be able to finish his race. Conga line through 3 and 4, and Andy Wiles through the Pitts Realty restart zone. Green goes up and hammer goes down. Two more circuits for Andy Wiles. Early in the race, there was a lot of give and take, and now there's no give and all take with one more circuit. Andy Wiles by 7/10. He's going to extend that lead. And as they go into 3 and 4, Jim Thorne gets around Bob Workmeister, last night's feature winner, and Brandon Jordan. Going to settle for a top 5 as Andy Wiles, only hindered by 1 caution, but works his way up to the front. And he will win night 2 of the Ron Jenkins Memorial after starting 11th. He gets up to first. My Race Pass race results as Andy Wiles wins by just over a second. Jim Thorne in second with Bob Workmeister third. Brandon Jordan fourth. The rest of your top 10 includes John Martin and then Angela Ashworth back in 20th. It goes to Andy Wiles, up 10 spots to the top. He will come around to the front stretch, and we will hear from him as he heads down to Victory Lane after our first feature on the 10th annual Ron Jenkins Memorial Night here at the Diamond of Dirt Tracks.